He has a 1-1 count. That one's struck high. Left side. That one's going. That's out of here off the list. You have to be kidding me. Fireworks. And here you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome one and welcome all inside High and Tight, the flagship show, as always, part of the iBaseball Network. Happy to be here. I'm Andrew Brown, helping you through what the show is all about, which is baseball from the high school ranks to the professional level, all with an Iowa twist. And man, a lot of fun in store here for this episode. Really excited. So let's just start to dive right into it. But first and foremost, I will say, don't forget, everybody, we do have our Victus Green Light Bat giveaway. And you see some signatures on there. That's because they are from Iowa's very own Mitch Keller and Tyler Cropley. Keller with the Pittsburgh Pirates as one of their top aces. And, of course, you have Tyler Cropley, an Iowa legend, and both of them graciously signed that bat. And, of course, again, that bat can be yours. And, again, just go through. Make sure you hit us up at iabaseball1@gmail.com. Make sure to put it up right there for you. And or hit us up on social media and just type in the word green light. And once you do that, we'll get you in the drawing for the bat. And then we'll do the random wheel generator. And after that happens, you know, we put it in the random side of things for a reason. So we put it in, let it work, and then we'll do it 3 times. Whatever one comes out the third time, that name will get the bid. So, again, we'll ship it right to you. All you got to do is get your name in and write that word green light for you. All right, again, ladies and gentlemen, as always, please like, subscribe, spread the word, and a whole lot more. I will say here, we have a fun show in store. And this, as we get ready for baseball, Major League Baseball, to get ready in full swing with spring training and finally get that full baseball field back into effect, there are many different ways to engage in the game, many different ways to get you hyped up. For us, it's not just spring training, but looking back to the nostalgia of baseball, what that has meant to us, and that includes the cinema. We go into film this time as we get the chance to dive into one of the more iconic movies in sports history, just in movie history in general, and that is what we're about to show you right here.
Truly. What are you doing?
Well, you guys were all leaving, so I just thought I'd
you were thinking you wouldn't have thought that.
You can't go back there, Smalls.
Then how do we get the ball back?
We don't. We don't. It's history. It's history. Kiss it goodbye. Kiss it. Shut up, Tommy.
It's gone, man. Gone. Game's over, man. Just get another ball tomorrow.
Yeah.
We'll never see it again.
Why not?
The Beast.
We are talking about none other than the Sandlot movie, and in just a bit here, we'll bring on the man who made it all possible, who made one of the best, most iconic movies of all time. But first and foremost, I got to bring on, of course, I could not do this by myself. I needed someone who loved the movie as just as much as I did, someone who's lived, eaten, breathed the game far more than I have. And that is the one and only Carter Thomas as he joins me now. And Carter, before we get Mr. Evans on, I got to say, you were a very easy choice when it came to this. I know your energy for the game, and I knew that you would enjoy a conversation here with the one and only David Mickey Evans.
For sure, for sure. Thanks for having me on, Andrew. And yeah, I mean, growing up, I think me and my buddies watched this movie every single week, probably like any kid that loved baseball, right? Like all you want to be is Benny the Jet Rodriguez, right? And
Yeah.
no one wants to be Squints. And so, you kind of put yourself in one of those roles growing up. And, what a movie that just kind of culminates what baseball is to the average American kid, right? And I think it's just what a piece of art, right? Like it's something that every time you watch it, it gets better. So I'm excited to be here.
Oh, well, again, thank you for being here as we're going to go through that iconic movie and maybe even a little bit more as we have the one and only, and I do say the one and only, the man, the myth, the legend, as he joins us right now, David Mickey Evans, joining us on the Inslice.com hotline. And Mr. Evans, I mean, first and foremost, let me get my applause out for you.
Nice.
Well, Mr. Evans, hey, thank you. This is an absolute delight because we get the chance. This movie has meant so much to both of us and millions of people across the country here now as we continue. We get spring training in 2025 coming around the corner here. So we'll really appreciate the chance to come on and have this conversation with us.
Oh, no worries, guys. I love you guys. Iowa. I got to make more movies there. Seriously.
Yeah, we need you to.
Yeah, we look forward to it, too. We're waiting as well.
Well, the gears of Hollywood grind slowly, man. And, never give up. Never give up. No, I've got, I think we talked last time. I don't want to jump ahead here about the Ed Thomas story, The Sacred Acre. And it's just this weird up and down thing with that. But I finally got control of it back. And that's going forward. So that's cool.
Yes. So we look forward to the future when it comes around. And hey, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be there. We'd love to cover every square inch of that and the great mind that is David Mickey Evans. But Mr. Evans, I got to say, we're catching you in Florida. We're here in Iowa. Right now, we're still in that deep, dark off-season mode. We don't have baseball aside from college just starting up, right? But we're still inking for more baseball, and we got more snow on the ground. So we're wishing that we could kind of teleport your way a little bit.
Hey, listen, I moved here quite a while ago, maybe 15, 14 years ago, and I've developed this thing. It was 60 degrees the other day, and I looked like Ralphie from A Christmas Story. It was so damn cold, okay? I couldn't take it. So my tolerance for that sort of nasty winter weather you guys get, I can't tell. You're welcome to come down here, and I will. Today we're going to hit about 77, 79 today. I'm looking out the window. Some Bob Ross clouds, but mostly blue. It's beautiful. It's a great place for baseball too.
Yeah, I can't say any better than that. I would love to be there. And certainly, Carter, I know that right now we're going to grind through it here, but I think we can both picture ourselves in that right spot.
Yeah, for sure. And college is good enough for a little while, we only have to do a couple weeks and then major gets going. So,
yeah.
Absolutely right. Well, again, ladies and gentlemen, we're here to talk about, again, that iconic movie, The Sandlot. And as we sit here and wait for the weather that we want, let's dive into the movie that we know we have and we can't get enough of. And Mr. Evans, I got to say, first and foremost, take us through the start of it. How did this come to your mind? I mean, how did this type of a movie come into fruition for you? And did you ever expect that it would gain the height that it has and the popularity it holds still to this day?
No, there's absolutely no way to know whether anybody's going to love your movie or not.
Yeah.
You know, you go out there and you try to, have a good time making it. And I don't work for the producers. I don't work for the money guys. I don't work for anybody. And I mean, at first I work for me. And if I like it and it turns out, lucky me, that there's a big chance that other people in the world will like it. I'm talking about a piece of writing or whatever. Mm-hmm. And while you're making the film, I wanted it to be funny. And, you try to stay super focused, but super loose. Cause I had 9 kids, and they've always got something to say. And so that movie was a huge learning experience for me as a director in listening and taking a good idea, no matter where it's from, and giving credit where credit is due, of course. But the way the movie came about was I had done a picture. My first studio sale was a script called Radio Flyer back in 1990. And that sort of broke all these records. And there was this big baptism by fire that I got. And I got, there was a bit of a conspiracy and yada, yada. And I sort of directed the movie for a little while, and then I got fired. Mm-hmm. The day I got fired from that movie, I was driving home up the 405 freeway. I don't know if people in Iowa know what that is, but it's, I don't know, it's 170 lanes wide, something like that. I was going 22 miles, and it took me a long time, 3 hours maybe. Yeah. So I had a lot of time to sit in the car and think. And as I was driving home, an incident from my childhood occurred to me about a time my brother went over a fence to get a baseball for some bullies at the end of the street. And just that initial memory, I said, that's a movie. Yeah. And when I got home, I called up a script page and I typed The Boys of Summer, which was the original title. But it also happened to be the title. At the time, I didn't know, but I found out, obviously. Mm-hmm. The Boys of Summer was that great book by, his name's escaping me, Roger something. Anyway, they weren't too fond of us using that title, so we changed it to The Sandlot. But it was tough because when you're fired in Hollywood, dude, good luck getting another gig. Okay. Yeah. But I learned from my mentor, the great late Richard Donner of Superman and Lethal Weapon and, many, many other wonderful films. He took me aside because he ended up directing after I was fired. And he said, kid, everybody in Hollywood gets a second chance. Nobody gets a third. You're going to get your second. Oh, what's the rating on your show? Shall I avoid
you can
4-letter power word?
Anything you want. Anything you want.
All right. He said to me, kid, you got fucked. But everybody in Hollywood gets a second chance. Nobody gets a third. You'll get your second. Just don't fuck it up. Yeah. I said, okay. Thank you, sir. And so I had finished the script by then, and a month later it was sold. And thank the movie and baseball gods that they helped me, make something that ended up the way it is now. And man, there's been a lot of Sandlot in my life lately. There always is, but I mean, just a lot of requests and love letters. I mean, I get love letters all the time from all over the world, and it's wonderful to come in the morning. You got to look through the bad emails, and then you get to the good emails, and you're like, oh, look, people like the movie still, yeah,
Yeah.
So it was. I mean, there's this great story about back in the heyday or the halcyon days of television, where Sid Caesar. My God, Carl Reiner, just the biggest names. They were in a room writing a show, and they couldn't figure out this joke. And the punchline to the joke was a number. So some guy bringing coffee comes in, and he overhears it, and he goes, well, it's 27. And he leaves. And all of these genius comedic minds look at each other and go, son of a bitch, how did he know that? That's it. That's the answer. Whatever. It doesn't matter what the number was. but he had it. And Reiner goes, well, that's easy. He knows it because he doesn't know how hard it is.
Yeah.
He had no idea how hard it is to sit here and come up with those jokes, right? So I learned, I was a little bit like that when I was making the movie. I had the best Tony Richmond as a director of photography, Chester Kazin as a production designer, Mike Stevenson as an editor. My God, I had the people, and they all saw the movie the way I did, right? So that was a big, big deal. And, you know, in the areas that I didn't know how hard it was, I got a lot of help. And in the areas where I didn't have any problems. I mean,
yeah.
But it was that movie for me personally was sink or swim. It's either going to be popular, and it didn't have to be a hit, but it just had to be popular.
Yeah.
Or I was going to sit behind the computer and never get another directing job. So, as you can imagine, I am intensely and just incredibly grateful for that picture.
Well, man, we absolutely, again, we are as well. Can't imagine life without it here. And Carter, I know you. I'll let you get here some questions, but yeah, it is something that again so iconic that we love to this day. Carter, I'll let you go.
Yeah. What I was gonna say is what I always think of, like daily or either weekly, the narration over when they're going out to play the 4th of July game. Like that voice in my head of them, just the kids getting the hot dog and getting their ball glove, getting ready to go play under the lights. Like I think of that almost weekly, just that narration and that situation, just because how cool that would be and what a scene. Like that's every kid's dream to play on the 4th of July, with the food and fireworks and it's warm out. Just I think about that all the time.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've been asked many times what my favorite scene in the movie, and that's it. That's my favorite scene. Because I needed cool. In the story, I wanted just some big way to, hammer or hit over the head that this is America. This is the America that I wish that I had, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that scene, I mean, this is 1992. We were shooting this picture. There's no CGI, no this, no that. All of those, there was no fireworks when we shot that scene. That was all shot from the top of a hotel in downtown Salt Lake City, like a night after that, because it happened to be the 4th of July, and we paid no money to get all those shots of the fireworks, right? We just went up there and filmed it. And then we took all of that material. The VisFX head was Adam Howard, absolutely genius. And he says, no, just do a little small match. So we just put the two pieces of film together, made a small, dodging map, and you can't tell. I mean, it looks completely real.
Yeah.
And I wanted some way just, to hammer home that, although, this kind of friendship and these kinds of kids could exist as a group anywhere in the world, right? And I think that's why the movie, even though it's against the background of baseball, which normally don't do very well internationally or around the world, this one does. I mean, believe it or not, Germany just can't get enough of this film. Japan, as you would imagine, loves this film, but so does Australia.
Ooh.
It's weird. Yeah. So,
wow.
And Argentina and Chile. I can't believe I'm a big deal down there, but I am. It really is. So I needed a way to show that, and although that group of kids could be any group of kids, tight group of kids in India or any other China, whatever, baseball means it could only happen in America. Okay.
Yep.
And I wanted a way to show that. And so I had all these, visions of grandeur and, crazy shots and all this. And then the exigencies of shooting with children at nighttime, rear their, it's ugly sort of, California labor laws. And it says, nah, dude, you only get these guys for an hour when it's dark, right?
Jeez.
So I'm out there, I'm on the Sandlot, it's night. I have 9 kids. I got to get them all close ups. I got to get them all. And we had about 2 hours because at that time in Salt Lake City, it didn't get dark until about 9:30, 10 p.m. And these guys can't work past 11. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, you do what you got to do. You take the camera off the dolly and you stick it on your shoulder. And that's pretty much how we did it. And all the lights that are shining on their faces are just a little old Fresnel light from the way we used to light motion pictures.
Yeah.
It had these little barn doors on it that open and close like that.
Uh-huh.
And we put a red gel for one kid, made his face red, yellow, green, blue, whatever. And by the time we caught it all in and did those very simple juxtaposition shots with the fireworks, then I needed a song, and that was pretty easy. That was, I don't know if it gets more American than Ray Charles' "America the Beautiful." And it's just one of those examples, and I use this as an example of more than the sum of its parts.
Uh-huh.
Right? You could make the argument that the most powerful tool in all of art, is the cut.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Juxtaposition. Putting two, dissimilar or similar parts together, to put them together, and then together it means something entirely bigger than itself. And that part of that scene for me is like that. So anyway, we knocked that out in about 2 hours. And at the end of that, you remember the camera goes way out in left field and it's on the ground, and Benny hits a ball, and that ball goes through the air and drops right in front of the camera.
Mm-hmm.
No CG.
Wow.
One take.
Whoa.
Because behind the backstop, my incredibly dear friend Terry Haskell, my prop master, who had played ball, not professionally, but he was a really, really good athlete. Anyway, he was in charge of sending those baseballs anywhere we wanted them, and he didn't hit them. He had a pitching machine, a little wheel thing, and he dialed that in and sent one ball, and it dropped just right. We yelled cut. We put a bucket over the ball so it didn't move. We went to sleep. We got up, came back, removed the bucket, and then continued on with the scene in the daytime, the next scene. And that's why Squint seems to walk through the night right into the morning, which is the idea that they played all night, right? And that's just really simple stuff, but it's done awesome. Really, really well, and I'm really proud of that scene. I still get a little misty about that one,
That's so cool.
That's awesome. That is, I agree. And Carter, I agree too. That's, to me, the scene that if you had to say what is the best scene, what is the most encapsulating scene, Mr. Evans, I would say that as well, because that is everything to a T what I like about that movie and more. But you did mention working with kids, and I got to ask more on that because, wow, I mean, all those 9 kids, working with them at the same time. I mean, I sometimes work with 2 or 3 adults, and I get a little annoyed. So I can only imagine. And not that kids are bad. I love kids, but take us through some more of those challenges when it comes to working with child actors, along with, again, you only have a limited window to shoot with them. What other challenges and, I guess, fun stuff came along with child actors?
Well, with kids, there's an old adage: never work with kids or animals, right, in Hollywood. But what people don't understand is that's not what that means.
Yeah.
W.C. Fields said that. Okay, and W.C. Fields was, W.C. Fields is the all-time greatest comedians, blah, blah, blah. He said never work with animals or children, but what he meant was not because it's difficult, because they'll fucking upstage you. That's what he meant. Okay, and he didn't like them because he was W.C. Fields. But I will tell you, look, dude, everything's difficult. Making any movie is difficult. So the thing with kids is this: it's 3 things: time, attention, and their parents. If you have really good parents who really look out for them and take care of them and care about them, you're going to get more latitude from those kind of reasonable, good parents than you are from someone who's a stage mom or somebody that's, living vicariously through their kid and blah, blah, blah. So I don't have any use for those sorts. So these kids were all terrific. But again, they were all like, 12 and 13 years old, and the hormones are raging. And God knows what they're thinking about. But there was a lot of moments where, it was like, all right, buddy, shiny ball. Hey, don't catch flies. Close your mouth. That kind of thing. But by and large, the little subculture of those 9 kids was pretty much like it was on the screen in real life. Benny was kind of the more mature, really good dude, leader kind of guy. Scotty and Squints were not like their characters. Tom Geyer was a little tough kid who was a black belt in karate. So, we had to teach him to be goofy. And Squints was not goofy. He, at the time, I guess in 92 or whatever, he had those giant jeans with the huge, I don't know, whatever they're called. There was a name for them. They looked like elephant legs or something, and a hat turned this way, all that kind of stuff. So, you get to know them, what their strengths and weaknesses are. You don't want to, look, they're kids, and we're not doing Shakespeare. We're doing something more difficult. We're trying to get people to laugh. So, you cast what they are. And you get frustrated sometimes, but the guy that really got run ragged was the late, great Bill Elvin, my first AD. God, I love Bill. He did to the best of his ability. He kept that nonsense away from me so I could focus. But really, he would pull his hair out sometimes, it's like, where's so-and-so? Where's so-and-so? You remember the scene in Raising Arizona when he goes in to steal a baby and there's like 5 babies and 5 cribs, and every time he sets one down, that's kind of like directing a movie with kids. What do you call it? It's like herding squirrels or cats.
Herding cats or something, yeah.
But on the other hand, I'll tell you this. Young actors, if they really have a simpatico thing with their character. In other words, they just are their character.
Yeah.
It's not like they have to dig deep and go all Stanislavski. No, dude, they just are what they are. That to me is an easier road, or at least a more economically satisfying way to direct, because usually in the pictures I've done with kids, the kids I've hired, they nail it in a take or two, and you're done, and you ain't going to get it any better. It's as good as it's going to get. And with an adult actor, sometimes that can take many, many, many takes. So that was where we were able to sort of organically, I hate that word, but I'll use it, save time.
Yeah.
And time is really your enemy when you're doing a movie, but specifically a movie with kids. And I think we originally had 58 days to shoot that movie, but we shot it in 42. So yeah, and it was 110 degrees, 112 degrees all summer. So, we had to keep them cool, and, we're out in a deserty kind of field. So all of those physical things were difficult.
Yeah.
But it was cool. And then off camera, they were all tight. They all went to the movies together and all that kind of thing. And each one of them had something really special. And you can see it in the movie. Each one of them has their own little moment and such. But I don't know if I've told you the story before. And here's it's the funniest story of those kids that I can remember is this. No names will be mentioned. So we're doing a scene in Mr. Brundle's backyard, and as you see in the movie, Mr. Brundle's backyard and the Timmons' backyard are right next to each other. They share a fence. So the crew, most of the kids and stuff, I think we're shooting. It might have been the end of the movie when they all address Mr. Myrtle at his backyard. And we can't find one of the characters, one of the kids. And, time is wasting. And I'm like, Bill, find the kid. Can't find the kid. So, all right, everybody drop what you're doing and spread out. Literally, I said that. Go find this kid. So my DP comes back to me and he says, and he's an English guy, British guy with an inimitable accent. He says, right, Chief, come here. So I go and he goes, now, listen, I found him and he's up in the treehouse. I said, he's in the treehouse. He says, yeah, he's up in the treehouse. You might want to go talk to him. So I go, all right. So I don't tell anybody. And I go up the steps to the treehouse and there he is. And he's sitting on, we had it was like a kid's treehouse. There was a little couch in there, a little foot locker for a coffee table. But what I didn't know was that inside that foot locker, my set dresser and prop dude had put a bunch of what you would expect to find in a 12 or 13-year-old's foot locker in a treehouse, and those were Playboy magazines. And there this poor young man sat, right? And he wasn't doing anything weird. He was just sitting there looking at it. But we're all guys here. You know what happens when you do that, right?
Oh, yeah.
And he couldn't move. He couldn't stand up. Never mind trying to walk down the fucking stairs and go, "Hi, guys." Oh, man. People are going to be tossing him a hat to hang it on. It's just, what are you gonna do, right? And it's like, oh man, that was like, I was younger at the time, but still, man, you're like, dude, this is a moment you could ruin this kid's life for the rest of eternity, or you can make it okay. So we chose to make it okay, and I sat down and had a talk with him. I said, "Hey, man, first of all, you shouldn't walk away like that. I know. Second of all, you got to tell people we're going on. And third of all, look, man, that happens to everyone. Okay? You're just going to sit here, going to take that magazine away from you, put that back in the foot locker, and let's just sit here and talk about baseball." Okay?
Oh.
So we did. Calm down. And we walked down the thing, and I got my hand on him. I'm all right, man. I high five him in front of the crew, and we hug it out and stuff. Kid's 13 years old. And I'm like, "You're going to be fine, dude. Don't worry about it. Nobody gives a shit. Let's shoot this scene."
Let's do this.
Fucking director of photography turns around and he goes, "Right. Woody's back. Let's shoot." His name wasn't Woody. Okay? And I grabbed Tony. And I was like, "You son of a bitch, dude." And I turned to this kid and I said, "Dude, that's a compliment. Okay? Don't worry about that. That's good." Right? And everything went fine from there. So that was probably the funniest one.
Oh my gosh.
We talked about that for, frankly, years. Dude, I swear that happened.
Oh, that's one of the funniest things. I'll remember that for a long time now too.
Yeah, you don't forget that. That gets burned into those little neural net, man. Yeah.
You bet.
It was a great moment, though. And to this day, I'll tell you what, that guy calls me, I just do anything in the world for him. And not that he needs me to, but I would,
Yeah.
And I keep in touch with all the guys. We do appearances together once in a while, but they're all over the place all the time doing Comic-Cons and stuff. And I always do intros for them, voice intros they play. So I made 9 really good friends. They were a lot younger than me, but now it's cool. Mm-hmm.
Now it's pretty cool. Oh, I love that.
Oh, yeah.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, David Mickey Evans joining us here. This broadcast helped and brought to you by the great folks at the Log Cabin Greek Steakhouse in Galena, Illinois. I tell you what, great people there as well. Great food, great experiences. Check them out today at the Log Cabin Greek Steakhouse in Galena, Illinois here. Carter, I got to say, man, that was one of the more hilarious moments there. I love that story here, but man, there's so much more to this movie that we got to get to, and we'll continue to. Go ahead.
Yeah, that was quite the story. I can't say that's what I expected to hear, but I definitely, it's something that, like you said, I won't ever forget, and it's kind of funny, and how authentic is that? They're just kids just like we are, so that's funny. But
Carter, listen, these days I look at it like, you think about how fortuitous and sort of like, it makes perfect sense. This kid literally having his, what do you call it? Coming of age moment. And he's in a movie that's a coming of age movie.
Yeah, right.
What?
Yeah.
The stars aligned, man. It's amazing.
That's cool. So my next question was going to be about just Hercules' name. Like, is there any reason that it is Hercules? I'm sure there is, but what's the story behind it, and kind of how did you guys settle on that?
We're writing the script. I needed a kid to go over and get a baseball. And that was all I had. And then it goes down these paths. You follow the story. You try to force it. It never works. Not for me anyway, but you follow it. Give it up and look at what happens next. You go. And when we decided, oh shit, we got it, dude. That baseball's signed. It's got to be signed. Well, who's it going to be signed? Well, the very first. Well, I mean, you can make arguments about this. There's ancient Greeks, but Babe Ruth is the first bona fide sports legend.
Yeah.
He was a hero before he called that shot, and in the 32 World Series, and then after that, he was legendary. And people throw that word around, but there are very few legends, like bona fide legends. So Babe Ruth was like, people said he was less than a god, but more than a man. Well, so was Hercules.
There you go.
Hercules was, a legend, and we always thought that, and obviously Benny was become a neighborhood legend. So it was all this sort of trying to align the legends, right? Yeah. And when it came time to name the dog, it was pretty easy. It was, that's it. He's the biggest legend in mythology, mythological history, in mythology, because Hercules was, he was the son of, a human and a god, right?
Yeah.
So more than a man, but less than a god, and that made a lot of sense with the legend of Babe Ruth. That Benny was going to become a neighborhood legend, and the story itself, which at the time I had no idea, but today here I am with you guys. It's a legendary movie.
Yeah.
Right here. Check out this. The coolest hat of all time. Wait, watch.
Oh, no way. Now that is a hat. That is a hat. I love that.
All right, hang on.
I love this. All the hats collection. As you can see, I'm a big hat guy too. So yes, any hats. Oh, no way. Those look. Oh.
All I need is your address.
Yes.
Now, guys,
That's awesome.
Nobody has these hats. Okay? I have these hats. Well, okay, a few people do. Company called Dugout Mugs. Do you know Dugout Mugs?
Yeah, I've heard of them.
These guys. They make mugs out of old baseball.
That's sick.
And this one is the Sandlot version.
That is so cool. That is
worth. Shit, I'm not good at this. Anyway, so they, Chris Dennard over there, who owns the company, called me up because I have a licensing deal with them to make those mugs, and he says, "Hey, man, I'm going to do a hat." And I said, "All right, do it." And he wanted to use the photo and stuff. So, and now I'm going to give each of you guys one.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
You guys, dude, seriously, legendary. It's Dugout Mugs.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. That is.
It's the Heartbeat brand. And the front of this is legit cork.
Oh, no way.
Wow.
Yeah, and then these are embroidered. So when you get it, it's in person. I mean, it's impressive enough in a picture, but when you get it, dude, the tactile nature of the hat is just freaky. It's wonderful.
And of course, that image is that image is the iconic image right underneath the bill. You can always look up and have a good time.
Exactly, man. Oh,
that hat. I will put that in a frame. I'll make sure I'll put lasers around it, Mr. Evans. I'm not, I'm sure Carter, you'll do the same thing. That thing's that's not gonna see the light of day again.
Yeah, dude, it's pretty tidy. I got to tell you. I mean, I've got hundreds of baseball caps in my where I keep them, and this is man, this might be the best one.
Yeah,
it's a hard thing to say, but it might be. Yeah.
Oh, man, hat with a heart. I tell you what, that is something amazing.
It is. That's right. That's awesome.
And you know what? As we talk about like these moments here, Mr. Evans, these iconic, the moments that will never leave now our heads as well, and hopefully everyone listening. I got to ask too. This will be the first year that I will remember without James Earl Jones, as looking back and remembering this. We won't have him alive anymore to experience this again, but he has been this, talk about myths and legends. He's been one of those that I remember looking back at as a legend in the acting world. One of those guys that you always looked up to. And of course, for me, I always go back to Star Wars, right? I always remember that iconic voice. But then to hear him part of this movie was just, I think it just added another layer to why this is such a great movie here. Talk to us about getting him on board and what that was like to work with him, what that was like for the production, and just what it was, what the acquisition of him and being with him was like, knowing where he come from and knowing all the great stuff he had already done.
Well, that's a really good question. And to piggyback on the legendary thing we were talking about, James Earl Jones will always remain a legendary actor.
Yes.
When you stand in that guy's presence, you can feel it coming off him. Charisma, right? You're either born with it or you're not.
Yeah.
Some people are born with it, never develop it. Some people are born with it and they become James Earl Jones. Okay. Who commands presence just by his presence. I didn't know that. I mean, I felt that, like you said, I was a big fan and all that, Star Wars, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But the first thing I'll say about Mr. Jones, God rest his soul, was he was the most gracious man, one of, if not the most gracious man I ever met.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys know, but every time he was asked about when you played Darth Vader in Star Wars, he'd say, I didn't play Darth Vader in Star Wars. David Prowse played Darth Vader in Star Wars. I was just the voice.
Yeah.
He always gave credit where credit was due.
Mm-hmm.
He was just a gracious man. How did we get him? Well, we didn't have a Mr. Myrtle. First of all, there was no ethnicity to Mr. Myrtle in the script. He was just Mr. Myrtle. Yeah. And, we didn't have any Mr. Myrtle. So we just kept thinking about, who can we get? And one day, Bill Elvin, my AD once more, saving the day, he says, hey, you should get for that part. I said, Bill, who's that? He goes, Bill, James Earl Jones. And I laughed at him. I said, Bill, we got 9 kids on this show, some puppets and a dog and shit. What the hell would James Earl Jones do? There's no way in hell, blah, blah, blah. And Bill goes, well, you want me to call him? And I said, wait, what? And were you going to call his agent? And he goes, no, dude, I'm going to call him. Like, how the fuck do you know James Earl Jones? He goes, I was the AD on, what's the Kevin Costner movie, Field of Dreams?
Oh, yeah.
James was my buddy. And I went, oh, that old adage. In Hollywood, it's who you know.
Yep.
And he knew James Earl Jones. So I said, well, that's a pipe dream, man. But yeah, you go ahead and call him, whatever. So he called him, sent him the script overnight. The next day or two, I get a call. This is James Earl Jones.
Oh, no.
And he says, I love this the script. I love it. He goes, but I'm black. I said, yes, sir, I do. He says, well, Mr. Myrtle, blah, 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 would never have known Babe Ruth. So he said, if I'm going to play this part, you got to change this stuff.
Yeah.
And I said, shit. Done. So I changed it. Came out better, Yeah. One of those moments I was like, I'll take a good idea, whatever it was, all of my, hubris from film school and God knows what. That was gone, man. It was like starving man in the desert, ideas, please. And so we fixed it up and I sent it to him and he called me again. He goes, yeah, this is great. I'll do it. And, I think it was less than a week later. I'm walking onto the Sandlot. Our offices were literally about, 50 feet beyond the backstop fence in this old abandoned mini mall. We took it over and made our offices there. So I was just walking over and over to Mr. Myrtle's house. There he is, James Earl Jones. And he's already in costume, in his overalls and all this. And there's Bill talking to him. Everybody's around talking to him. Some people are handing him pieces of paper. Please sign an autograph and stuff. So I walk over and I'm, Bill's still talking and such. And suddenly, Mr. Jones has no idea who I am, just this guy standing there. And he says, Bill, where is the director? And Bill goes, oh, he's right here. David, come here. So he comes over, and I looked really young at the time, dude. I was like 27, 28 years old, but I had a pretty young-looking face. And I'm 6 feet tall. I had to look up at James, okay? A little bit. And he looks down at me, and he goes, ha! No, Bill, seriously, where's the director? Dude, he didn't mean to hurt my feelings or anything like that. He was not. That's not what he meant. What he meant was, you must be fucking kidding me. Is he one of the characters, And he goes, no. So right then, we got along super famously. Yeah. And I learned another valuable lesson. It's like you have with an actor as accomplished, knowledgeable, creative, as James Earl Jones, you have a little conversation. This is what I learned. You have a little conversation about the character. You answer any question that this person could possibly have, and then you just go away. I went stood behind the camera, and he, roll, action, cut, moving on. Pretty much.
I love it.
And I'll tell you one more funny one is before that. No, at lunch, I believe it was. Might have been breakfast. It might have been breakfast. No, maybe it was lunch. Anyway, James is sitting by himself at a little plastic table or whatever in the awning, having his lunch. It might have been oatmeal with raisins, I think. And he's sitting there, and all the guys, the Sandlot crew, are across the street doing this. And you can see him elbowing, and what they're doing is, they're trying to make one of them go over there and get an autograph or something. They can't do it. They're too scared or embarrassed or overwhelmed, maybe. So finally, they send over Marty. Okay.
Okay.
Little, yeah, and he has a little pen, fucking paper, and he goes over there, and Marty's a big dude now. He's all jacked and stuff, but at the time, he's a tiny little kid,
Yeah.
And he goes over there. And he says, "Excuse me, are you Darth Vader?" And stops mid-bite, and he's sitting, but he still has to look down because the kid's dinky, and he goes, "No, I am your father." And Marty goes, huh, and then it was like, oh man, it is him. It's Darth, it was the perfect line. And he signed all the autographs and shit like that. And it was absolutely wonderful.
Oh my gosh.
And I think I had him for one day, might have been 1.5. And then he got on a plane and went away and left us with an absolutely indispensable part of the Sandlot, which, listen, there's a lot of things without which the Sandlot wouldn't be the Sandlot. Right up there, I'd say, maybe in the top 5, top 3 is that Mr. James Earl Jones played Mr. Myrtle, dude. It gave it gravitas, it gave it weight, it gave all of the crazy lunacy crap that these kids did, which could have been just another crazy kids doing bullshit summer. It gave it. Whoa, wait a minute, man! Wait a minute. This is legendary. Legendary actor, legendary character who was legendary. I mean, just on and on and on. Yeah. So that is one. And then, I when I did the Sandlot 2, they gave me 1/3 of the budget, less than 1/2 of the amount of time to make it. And so I wrote it, and I had Mr. Myrtle in there, and I had no money, and in the budget, blah blah blah. But I called him, and he said, "David, of course I'll do it. Just fly me out there and give me a hotel and talk to my agent, blah blah blah." And he came out and did it for me. He did all I needed was for a half day, and he did it because he was a great man.
Oh, and I really wish he was still here today, man. That he was absolutely. Again, for so many different films, iconic and legendary, and man, but yes, he'll be truly missed once this baseball season hits. For sure.
Let's see here. Hang on. Where is it? Let's see if I can show you guys this.
Oh, here we go. We got some more.
Let's see if I can get this one.
Oh, here, let me get Solo on there. Whoa!
That's me and me, Benny, Scotty, and Mr. Myrtle in Mr. Myrtle's baseball room.
Wow. That, yeah.
And all that stuff on the walls, all those little men, all of the props, all of the set stuff was and is owned by my prop guy, Terry. He was an absolute baseball fanatic. So when you look at all that stuff in Mr. Myrtle's room, those are not reproduced, pennants. Those are legit. Real. Oh yeah, everything in that room is legit. And it's so funny because a few years ago, the Louisville Slugger Museum in St. Louis called and said, "Hey man, we're going to do an installation, a museum installation all summer long of the Sandlot. Wow. You got anything?" And I said, "Do I have anything?" So I called Terry and I said, "Yeah, I got a bunch of stuff. You guys got to pay for the shipping." They go, "Cool, man. We'll pay." There must have been 20, 200-gallon black boxes of. Oh. They spent thousands on FedEx. Okay, just to get it, and then they had to insure it, all that. But yeah, I've got a bunch of pictures of that, and I think they have it in storage because one day when I open my Sandlot Experience Museum, boys, I'm going to go get all of that stuff and put it in there.
Oh man, and we'll be one of the first ones there. I promise you.
I hope so. Yeah. Honored guests.
That'll be something.
That would be absolutely amazing. Oh, that is absolutely wonderful. Oh man, and of course, as we go there, whatever you're in, Mr. Evans, we are definitely on board with anything you do. Love your work here, and love not only this but Sandlot 2. All your work has been fantastic. I think. I
appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no doubt. Here, Carter, I'm taking all the time here. Carter, go ahead.
Oh no, you're good. I think it's so cool the part that he played, the way that he played Mr. Myrtle, and just the energy that you feel when he comes into the picture. He's just so serious, but he just controls the situation. And I think that, like you said, if anyone else would have played it, it wouldn't have had the effect that it did. And having him cast as that is perfect. And it's just such a nice touch on a beautiful film.
I completely agree with you. And I think about that from time to time, when I'm doing another picture or something, is this the right actor? What do I need in this role? Is there anything sort of ethereal or in the ether like James's charisma that would benefit this story and all that? And him in that role, when he says, "Well, why didn't you just knock on the door? I'd have gotten it for you." When he delivers that line, it is so simple, reasonable, common sense, adult, kind of legendary. And you guys really screwed up, It just takes all those kids and they all look at Squints, who's and it's like, it wasn't my idea, it was his idea, The way he delivered that line, in the cut, it's like, dude, here it comes, softball, and they blame Squints. It's the perfect setup, the perfect tone, the perfect cadence, the perfect voice. I just think it's a perfect moment. You don't get very many of those in your career.
Yeah, I'm in full agreement. That's definitely the line I was thinking of when I made that comment. That he just, the way he says it, you're just like, oh, that's perfect. And like you said, they just start pointing fingers at each other, like, oh, we could have done this, we could have done that. Like, there's so many other ways we could have done this than trying to break into his yard or whatever.
It's also, look, for all the semiology that's in this movie, Benny jumping that fence is supposed to be Benny taking his first step into adulthood, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Myrtle, in other words, what he's saying is, hey, you guys didn't have to do all of that insane bullshit. Why did you make this infinitely more complicated than it possibly was. Well, the answer is because they're kids.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's the point of the movie, is that they're kids and the world to them is but then when, you know, we all have that moment. God knows what it was for us. I mean, I can point to mine, but in your mind, you know what it is, where it's like, all right, I'm not a kid anymore. There's that moment. Maybe it's a series of moments. Some people maybe over a little while, but a lot of people, me, there's this moment, you know, and that's that moment for them. And it needed to just be perfect. And he made it perfect. So, again, deeply grateful, you know.
And again, I think a lot of us deeply grateful just for every moment he brought to the table. And again, this movie has been absolutely stellar. And again, ladies and gentlemen, David Mickey Evans of the Sandlot, creator, who have made this iconic movie. We're talking with him about how it all happened, everything in between, and more. If you missed anything, make sure to check it out. Again, across YouTube, all our different channels as well. But again, this is brought to you in part by the great folks at Log Cabin Greek Steakhouse. You got to check them out today in Galena, Illinois. A hop, skip, and a jump here from where I am, where Carter is, and certainly it's a fun time, so make sure you check that out. But Mr. Evans, I got to ask, you mentioned Benny and the coming of age moment, getting in there. And oh gosh, I mean, that is one of those that I remember. The stare down with the beast, Hercules, the stare down, the ball coming out. I mean, even to this day, again, the movie brings it out in me. I get the hairs standing up on my arm, and it's just, I remember where I was when I saw that. And, you know, and the thing is, for me, it was something where I was born in 91. So it's not like when I was 2 years old, I was glued or knew what was happening in the world.
Right, yeah.
But when I did watch it years down the road, I got to watch that, and that I got that feeling then. And one of the scenes that I have to ask about with that is the chase scene. I have to ask about, one, take me through that scene and how that developed, as now we look at it and it everything rings true. The coming of age for him, he ends up stealing base at the end of the game, or at the end of the movie, as a Dodger, making it there. So really, this for me was like, man, you know, I better get to it. I want to be like him, and I'm sure a lot got that feeling. But take me through that scene, that time, the chase scene. What was that like to bring that to fruition?
It took about a week to shoot that.
Okay.
You know, I mean, there's a ton of different parts. There's the beginning and the end on the Sandlot part. You know, they all shot that at the same time. Then there's, you know, the boys club in the park, knocking down the cake, the pool, and so each one of those is a separate location. You got to go to those things. And, you know, the biggest issue was that it was really hot that summer in Utah, outside of Salt Lake City and Glendale, where we shot it. And those dogs hate heat. They can't move. I mean, look, they're English Mastiffs, dude. You know, they're not, you know, fucking running through forests chasing deer. They sit at your front door, you're in front of your castle, and nobody goes near them. That's the idea. They're intimidating.
Yeah.
And they're just big old good boys, you know. They're just big slobber dogs, man. They're wonderful. But they don't like to move, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And they got treated like kings and queens. We had about 4 or 5 of them. Like the big one at the end, because he had a really big head. He was the close-up dog. The one running was a female who was lighter weight, you know, and she could run for about 20 yards and she'd stop. So if you look in the chase scene, there's no shots of that dog for more than a few seconds running because it couldn't, you know.
Yeah.
We had to chop it all up. So that took time, you know. We'd end up going, all right, get the dog out. We do one take with the dog. Now they got to rest for an hour.
Yeah.
And then we got to go do something else. So, you know, there's the movie that you see and the progression of the scene. Okay. We had to shoot that so out of order. I mean, all movies are made like that. But when you're working with kids and animals, yeah, man, you better know what you want to see, you know, as an in and out in the middle of each scene, so that it can cut all together, for the final element. But
Yep.
the time with the dogs and the time the dogs they had this great van with all these cushy mattresses, and
Ooh.
it was like ice cold air conditioning in there, They had treats. It was wonderful. And then they could come back out and run for a little while. So that was the biggest issue. Yeah, we had one of the dogs was a stunt dog. He's the one that jumped through the window, which was just sugar glass, and comes through the movie screen. Those both took a while.
Okay.
But the guy had the greatest trainers. Just, oh my gosh, the late great Carl Miller, a very strange man, but boy, he was great at what he did. And his daughter Teresa was absolutely phenomenal. And April Morley too, who's still at it. She's one of the best of all time. So yeah, we had those guys to wrangle the doggies and stuff.
Yeah.
And then the only other big deal was when the fence came down. It was originally written, believe it or not, the original first draft of this thing I did, this entire thing was set on an elementary school play yard. And that's where they played baseball, because when I was a kid, that's where we played baseball. But then as things go, you start thinking about it, you change it. It's better to do it over here. It's not asphalt. Things change for a reason. The movie evolves before it's the movie it is. And in the script, the dog tries to jump back over this chain link fence, and its collar gets caught on the top, and it's hanging. And all the boys have to come together to push him up and save his life, and then he's grateful. What we ended up doing was way better.
Yeah.
And the fence coming down was one take, when it explodes.
Yeah.
The dog going through the wood was one take. Benny jumping over the fence, that was a stuntman named Jack West. Jack was absolutely great. He was an Olympic level gymnast back in the day.
Ooh.
And he had a rivalry with another stunt dude who did some stunts on Sandlot. Yeah, and they were both short, they're gymnasts, so they were short dudes, but they could lift 10,000 pounds. They were so incredibly fit, just amazingly fit. And so they had this rivalry, and so I'm talking to Jack and John. Oh God, I can't remember his name right now. The stunt guy in charge, the stunt master, and we're talking. Well, all right, he has to go up this fence and jump over. How tall is the fence? He's doing measurements of, all right, Jack, you got to jump up. If you get 12 feet in the air and then, scramble and then fall flat on your back on the ground.
Oh.
And Jack was like, man, can we dig, can we do a thing? And what they mean is when they're trying to do stuff, when they usually do stuff in movies, the old school way is you dig a big hole, you put a bunch of cardboard boxes in there and cover them up with dirt. So when he hits, it looks like he's hitting the ground, but he's not breaking his back.
Yeah.
But we couldn't do that. So I had to do it with no boxes. And he was sketchy about it, man. Okay, I was like, I don't know, man. That's going to hurt, And I'm like, oh, look. And the prop master, not the prop master, the guy in charge of stunts says, really, Jack? You don't want to do that? Terry will do it. The other stunt dude. And Jack goes, fuck you, I'm doing it. And he did it, man. He went back, he ran, and everything you see there is all Jack West, 12 feet in the air, falling on his back in a full prone position on solid dirt. And he didn't get up for about 15 minutes. He locked all the air out of himself. It was a guy on the ground. You're pulling him up by the belt to get the lungs, But I'm pretty sure after he got his breath, he goes, did you get it? Yeah, man, we got it. You have to do it again. It was awesome. It was great. Yeah.
Oh.
So that's pretty much the chase scene. And I'll tell you what, when we were really it was nail biting time, was we only had one cake, giant cake. And if we dropped it or it didn't work, we were never going to be able to go back and get another big cake. So, we made do and we got it done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's most of the chase scene, man. Yeah.
I gotta ask too with that. I thought music choice behind that was absolutely stellar. What was that initially? Was that in your initial thought to go with that with the music behind that? How did that come about? Because it just seems like it fit. The entire thing fit perfectly.
That is another one of those moments where you write it like that thing I just said. I got to have the dog hanging from the chain link fence. It's in the script, people. This is how we're doing it. And then somebody goes, "What if he goes through it and the thing comes down? There's a big explosion." I go, "Shit, that's better." So you gotta stay open minded, right?
Yeah.
And wait, what was the question? I went down a rabbit hole.
Oh no, just the music choice of that. I love the music.
Choice. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So when we were writing and stuff, I said, "Dude, there's only one song that goes in here, Wooly Bully by Sam the Sham and the Pharaohs."
Yeah.
Bully, bully, that, and it's got that kind of pace, where
Yep.
that's kind of like how those dogs run and stuff. And I always had that in my head. Well, whoever was, had the rights to that, asked for some ungodly amount of money that we didn't have. And so you got to find something else, man. And in the editing room, we played a bunch of songs. I said, Mike, it might have been Mike's idea. It might have been mine. I can't remember. Let's put in, we need something with some drums. This is a foot race, something that's like got a fast cadence.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, it was Wipeout by the Ventures,
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, and we got that one for, the amount of money we had in the budget. They were really cool about it. That's literally how it got in there.
Wow. So
but it made total sense, right?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, when you first told me about that, I went, "Wait, Wipeout wasn't the first choice because it works so well with it." I mean, Wooly Bully would have been great too, but man, I think Wipeout, especially how it all works out in the end, I think is just perfectly done.
Psychologically, there's a difference too.
Yeah.
Wooly Bully, if that had been the song playing under that, the focus in that scene is on what? Wooly Bully, the dog.
The dog.
But if it's Wipeout, okay, psychologically, the emphasis is on Benny trying to get away from the dog. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it works better.
Yeah.
And I'm happy we did. I'm happy Sam the Sham and the Pharaohs wanted too much money.
We're all thankful in the end. I love it.
Indeed.
Carter?
Let me look here. Let's see if I got one. Oh yeah, I was gonna ask just why or kind of what the reason like Babe Ruth looks at the baseball card in I think it's Mr. Myrtle's house, right? Or is it in Benny's room?
Benny's bedroom, right?
Yeah,
Benny's bedroom. Yeah, so it's Henry Aaron, I think, and just kind of what was the reason for that. And I think that altercation between those, or not altercation, but situation between Benny and Babe Ruth is cool in its own and very unique. So just kind of yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he says it. He actually goes. It was a gag. Like I said to the late great Art LaFleur. God damn, I can't believe Art's gone. I love that guy so much. I said, Art, here I'm gonna put a prop here for you, man. You're Babe Ruth, right? And he looks and he goes, okay, I got it. Because Henry Aaron broke Babe Ruth's home run record.
Yes,
in the future.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. So Babe's a ghost, right? And he comes here. Who the fuck is Henry Aaron? I don't know why. I got a feeling. I have this baseball card because it's a guy who in the future is going to break his world record. I know, it was a gag, man.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
It didn't even set in for me, but that's good.
Art was so good at that too. He always said every time I saw him interviewed, whether it was about the Sandlot or not, another movie, Jesus, he must have done like 120 movies, something like that. I mean, he was a really successful actor. And he'd get interviewed by somebody and they'd say, we loved you in this movie. We loved you in that movie. And oh my God, we loved you in the Sandlot as Babe Ruth. And he goes, you know what? He'd say the same thing every time. He goes, that is the best one-day gig I ever had in my entire career. I only had him for one day, right? But the impact that had on him as an actor, because this movie is loved all over the world, was, incalculable. Same thing for me, So it
Yeah.
was wonderful.
Oh
Yeah.
man, something will again another so memorable impact point to this, and it's something that I think everyone, a lot of people I know have had dreams of that. Come boy, and they have their idol or the all time great in their room, and so again, I love the relatability piece that honestly, I don't know if you get that too much anymore. I love the movies now, but you just don't seem to get as much with that. But I also, as we talk about relatability pieces, every summer, and Carter, I'm sure you have had your times as well. There's always, the pool. You're going to the pool with your friends. You're gonna do this thing, and there's always, always the lifeguards. There's always some aura around the lifeguards, and Wendy Peppercorn being the biggest part here in terms of the pool and all that. But how was that initially? Take me through the creation of that scene, I guess, because that is also something that, I mean, again, baseball, and then you go to the pool, and it is ingrained in a lot of history of everybody here. So take me through the development of that, because nowadays, Mr. Evans, I am seeing as many shirts, posters, and I don't know what it is. I'm seeing a lot of comeback of Wendy Peppercorn on shirts, on this. I'm seeing squints. I'm seeing all of this stuff.
Oh yeah.
And again, it's just that it's bringing iconic moments back. There's so many to choose from here, but take us through the creation of what that scene was like.
All right. So
True.
Wendy Peppercorn.
Yeah, talk to me about that.
When I was a kid, and into probably the early teenage years, you're exactly right. In Southern California, there were tons and tons and tons of county and city pools. Like
Yeah.
a quarter or 50 cents to get in. It was an all-day thing. You got your little green mesh bag. You put your stuff in, and they'd give you a little thing to pin on your shorts. Your little tag with your number for your personal belongings. And then you went into that pool, and my memory tells me, when I was 10, 11, 12 years old, that fucking pool was 3,000 feet deep, man. It was, and eventually, I remember to this day when I finally got him enough nerve to go in the deep end, and I could swim. It was, it was freedom. But always, I didn't care. I don't care what pool you went to for me, it was the 70s, the boys, it's the 60s. In Southern California, in the Los Angeles County area, almost all of the lifeguards were either high school kids, 16 to 18, whatever, or young college kids, maybe in their early 20s or something like that.
Yeah.
They were all ridiculously fit, because in those days there were requirements for the job. Oh, you got to save lives? Shit, you might, I think it's a pretty good idea if you can lift someone up, that kind of thing. Sorry, I got a little political there. Yeah. And they were, the guys, wore the little red shirt. It was fucking Baywatch is what it was. Right?
Yeah, romance.
And everybody they were like gods and goddesses, man, to us little scrawny poor kids, And there was just one, okay. And she was there was a pool in Sunland, Tujunga, California, and one at Fernangeles Park in the San Fernando Valley, and her name was Bunny.
Okay.
Yeah, Bunny, like the rabbit.
Bunny.
And she was the absolute quintessential Southern California, unbelievably beautiful, blonde surf lifeguard chick. That's what she was. And she was literally up on a pedestal, okay, where we could admire and worship her. And she never said two words to us, man. We just like, duh. That's where the idea came from. And then why does the character kiss her? Well, everybody's got their one moment in the
Yeah.
movie. Yeah. He goes over the fence. Ham gets the trash talking thing. And that was Squints's character's moment. I always had in mind that he was a little ladies' man and that sort of thing. And it's like like when they look at the dog. Look, it's an English Mastiff. They don't see that. They see this giant 6-foot puppet because that's what they see when they're that old. When you're that old in those years, that's the technology that was available. That was a special effect to them, man.
Yeah.
Goddesses on towers at public pools, lifeguards. Same deal.
Yeah.
They were half legendary, if you will, right? Half goddesses, half human. And it just seemed to me that the Squints character was a little ladies' man, and he's a kid, and they go over the top. Everything's a bigger deal than it really is. Everything looks bigger than it. God damn it, I'm going to risk my own life to get a kiss. That was the idea. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And, we had to go back to that pool, I think, 4 times.
Yeah.
To shoot that whole scene because it was the first day we went there. It went from like 112 to like 60, and that water that we had to shoot, the water was like 54, 56, 58 degrees, something like that. It was pretty cold.
Yeah.
To swim in. And if you look in the scene, where it's down at water level, and there's Squints going, there she is, blah blah blah. If you look at his mouth in that scene, his teeth are chattering.
I've noticed that
because he's freezing his ass off.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's the way that came. And hang on one second. And then we needed to find Wendy.
Yeah.
And we went through lots of names and so on and so forth. And then one day, Sherry, my casting director, says there is a new actress. She's exactly what you're looking for. She's 18 and she's beautiful. I said, all right. Showed me a picture. I said, oh my gosh, Marley, she's absolutely beautiful. Yeah, she's perfect. And I never showed any of the boys that picture, nor did I tell them who was going to play Wendy Peppercorn. Because I wanted, the first time they saw the actress playing Wendy Peppercorn, I wanted it as Wendy Peppercorn in one of those one-piece red, period perfect swimsuits, bathing suits, I guess they used to call them.
Yeah.
And there she is with her hair like this and those white, iconic cat glasses. And I saw she just nailed it. She just nailed it, And a lot of that stuff when they're they didn't know her, They saw her when the character came out walking up and getting on her thing. They're like, that's Wendy Peppercorn. You gotta remember these are all 12, 13-year-old boys, right? The endocrine system is just pumping that stuff out, man. So they were just gaga over her, and it all led and culminated to the kissing scene. I took that little man aside, put him in a corner, and I took a knee so I was at his level, and I said, now listen, Chauncey, I know you're a ladies' man and all that, buddy, but you respect your fellow actor. Do you understand? Oh, yeah, I understand. I go, no, dude. You keep your damn tongue in your mouth. And so I've told that story before. People find it funny. But he did. God love him. He did. And I checked with Marley as well. She goes, yeah, he was a good boy. It was okay. And then he's still laying there, right, where he's grinning and laughing, we're shooting, and it's sort of the end of the scene. We shot Wendy getting pissed off at him, and we shoot him, and he does that goofy grin. We zoom in, cut. And everybody's, oh my God, it was absolutely so great stuff. Everybody's getting up, kind of disperse, and fucking Chauncey's still laying there on the ground. I go, dude, what are you doing? He goes, listen, I think I can do it better, Dave. Can we do that one more time? He said it. But the joke is, this little shit said that like we didn't know what he was doing. Like he was putting one over on us, okay? We're like, dude, no, man, you are not that slick. So I asked Marley, I go, Marley, you can you do one more? And she goes, one more.
What?
Like, okay, all right, you are in charge.
Oh.
So, and he did it. But God damn it, we used the first take. I knew he would. It was perfect.
I absolutely love that. Oh my gosh. And so again, that really is fun. It puts all that context behind it, and I absolutely, again, it's something that same here. Growing up, there was, and always was, that the lifeguards were that way for us, and that
Yeah,
was
man.
literally
It was something not just to look up to, but remember, man, you aspired to that, dude. I want to be one of those guys.
you wanted to
Then
be
you
a
get
lifeguard.
yeah. I mean, you save lives. You're tan and handsome.
Yeah. Oh,
Boy can dream.
that.
Oh man.
That.
I got a picture from somebody sent me a picture of then and now of the pool. It's
Oh
still there. Yeah,
no.
and it's all white. We painted it like a seafoam green or whatever, but it's
Uh-huh.
actually a red brick building, and all the paint had been taken off. And then in the Sandlot days, it looks fantastic. And then they took the paint off. I go, dude, I wouldn't go to that pool. That doesn't look like a pool. It was horrible. But it's still there, and a lot of people visit it as people go on these tours, to go to all the locations of a movie and stuff, and that's a big one for people. They dig it.
Oh wow. Yeah, and that would be a heck of a place to go to. I absolutely love that. Carter, do you have any other questions?
I don't think I have any more. That was another super cool story. When I went to
Right on.
Omaha, when I was a freshman in high school, I got a shirt that said "Wendy Peppercorn is a dime," and
Yes, I remember
yeah,
that one. It's awesome.
yeah, yo. And so
When
they
we
were
did,
selling all kinds of stuff like Sandlot related, and I thought that one was funny, and I wore it until it
yeah.
didn't fit anymore. But yeah,
No, dude, that one, and there's another one that Fox made for one of the tours we went on that they gave gold and stuff, and it's a bit of a graphic, right? So you can tell it's like her glasses,
Yep.
you know.
oh yep.
You can tell it's Wendy Peppercorn, and the words say, "I made out with Wendy Peppercorn."
Yes. Yes.
And it's a second, you go, "Wait, whoa!" And wow.
Oh.
No, when you stop recording, I'll tell you. You see chicks walking around with that on. You're like, oh, ah, yeah, that shirt appealed to places I didn't think it would appeal to. Whoa. And I am super happy for that.
Well, Mr. Evans, the last thing I had for you here is just as we look at it now, we've already had the big milestone, I believe 25th anniversary already come through. I remember watching, whether it's Patrick Renna or any of the other cast members, they doing their thing and all of you coming together at certain events. And it was take me through what you're feeling there when you look back at that. And again, it's something that was, again, like you said, you didn't know where it would end up, but take us through when you get to that 25th year anniversary and you're going to all these places and you see everybody loving the movie and having so much passion for this. What goes through your mind when you really that entire year, I should say?
213 was the 20th, so that we did that. I called Fox.
Yeah.
And I said, "What are you guys going to do for the 20th anniversary? You're going to do a DVD, blah, 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 blah." I go, "Why don't you do this?"
Yeah.
And Dave Shaw was the head of marketing at the time. And I said, "Dude, why don't you just send me and the guys to every baseball stadium in the United States? You can, the teams will say, yes, trust me. And we'll show the movie and, it'll be a love fest." And there was this pause. Dave will tell you this to this day. He's retired now, but I remember he goes, "That is a great idea. And we're going to do it." So that's how that happened. And it went so well that 5 years later, when the 25th anniversary came around, they called me and said, "Hey, we want to do this again, but way bigger." Right? So I said, "Terrific, man. It's nothing but fun. And, let's do it." And hang on a second. I will tell you this. There was two kinds of experiences. two kinds of experiences.
Yep.
I would say that the 20th anniversary tour, and I was pretty much my wife and I and our German Shepherd just drove around the country about 35,000 miles and went to all these places. So that was this really grassroots, very personal kind of tour. Where
Yeah.
I shook hands, hugged it out, and signed, a billion autographs. And it was me and right there with all the fans of the movie, and every single one of them, tens and tens of thousands. They want to tell me how much it meant to them, how it changed their life if it did, what it meant to their kid, blah, blah, all of these things that are just irreplaceable.
Yeah.
Irreplaceable gratitude for that kind of thing. So that was a really, really personal one. The 25th was a bigger deal. I didn't drive anywhere. That was first class, baby. And you're staying at the Four Seasons, so it's like woohoo.
Oh, yeah.
And they sent us to all these different places. And me and the boys would fly in, get together. They had handlers and vans and shit, and they'd drive us around.
Wow. And
it was a very big deal. We were on, we were on Good Morning America. We were on Today. We were on everything. Everything. And, but the biggest deal, biggest deal, as far as fan appreciation, love for the movie, having a moment where I guess I did something right. Can't say that too often, though, man. You don't want to take the credit for stuff. God will get really mad at you. Was Dodger Stadium in 2018. And the first thing we did was I'm not kidding. This is true. You can look it up. We broke the attendance record for Major League Baseball. I think it still stands to this day. There was something like 86 or 89,000 people at Dodger Stadium. They all came out for Sandlot Day.
Wow.
Okay. And Maury Wills was there, God rest his soul. The skipper, Tommy Lasorda, was there. We were all sitting together, hanging around. I'll tell you the Tommy Lasorda story. I don't know if I told it last time, but if I did I tell you Tommy Lasorda story when I went into his office? Okay, I'll tell that in a minute. But anyway, so we're all staying in this big Hollywood hotel, super VIP service, all this, and we got to go to Dodger Stadium, and they put us in these two blacked out, Mercedes-Benz vans and stuff. Somehow people knew who we were in those vans, and all the way, driving up to the gates of Dodger Stadium, where you got to pay for parking.
Yep.
There were cars and people lining the road that goes into Dodger Stadium, applauding as these two blacked out vans went past.
Oh, man.
I said, damn, that cannot possibly be for us. And then it just started getting bigger and bigger and bigger until we drove and negotiated our way all the way around the stadium back to it's the same as it was when they built Chavez Ravine. It's really mid-century, modern, beautiful, awesome clubhouse entrance with the Dodgers and Starburst and all this shit.
Oof.
And there were, if I had to guess, between 3,000 and 5,000 people there.
Wow.
And we couldn't get in. I mean, in an area probably the size of a basketball court.
Oh, my gosh.
Something like that.
Oh, my God.
And it was at that moment that our good friends at the Los Angeles Police Department showed up. And they gave us initially maybe 20 officers. And they go, all right, we're going to get you out of the vans. We're making a circle. You get in the circle. Okay, we go, all right. So we got in the circle, and all hell breaks loose when we come out of the vans, man, as people are waving, sign my thing, Benny. Well, Benny wasn't there. Squints this, I'm screaming, just, it wasn't chaos, but it was like controlled, massive fandom and just love, massive love fest. And we signed a few things, and that was nothing. So we got into the stadium, and then we had to, from a circle, we had to go to a rectangle, and we were like a fucking it was like the Rolling Stones, dude. Everybody came out of the seats. Everybody crowded the concourses, and we could barely get through, and it was getting kind of scary, man.
Oh, yeah.
You couldn't hear yourself think, I'm holding on to the back of a cop's belt, don't lose me, bro, that kind of thing. and they took us up to a VIP suite, which was the nicest, box that I've ever been in. And we actually had 2 of them, and it was catered. And, we kind of held court, me and, some of the other crew members that were there. And luckily, 2 of my kids were with me. I mean, they know what Dad does for a living. They lived through it when they were kids. But what they didn't know was how much people love Daddy's movie. And let's call it 90,000 people.
Yeah.
And we're up in the box. And they announce that we are there, including myself and all that. And this massive roar goes up in Dodger Stadium. You couldn't hear yourself think that it was people were so happy that they were there, that we were there, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then the time comes, and they take me down to the clubhouse, and there's all the guys, Clayton Kershaw, all the players, and they're all like, "Oh my God, dude!" And these guys are literally saying these words to me, all right? Shaking my hand. I don't know if you ever shake the hand. You guys probably have, of a professional baseball player. Fucking boxers got nothing on those guys. Their hands are like stone, dude. I mean, they're just the strongest hands you can possibly imagine. And I type for a living, so I'm no wimp, but Jesus, and their hands are huge. And so I'm shaking these hands, and every one of them I swear they said this to me, "Man, you're the reason I play professional baseball." And after about the 3rd one, I started to lose it, dude. I was like, "What?
That's cool.
Are you fucking kidding me? What?" And they kept saying it, and then I get through, and they're all giving me a pat on the back. They give me a Dodgers bat with my damn name on it. They give me a player's jersey, not one you get in the gift shop, a player's jersey.
Player's jersey.
Got like 3 of them from the Dodgers. Player's hat, anything I wanted. And then they hand me a baseball. They go, "You got the first pitch, bro. Go." And I was like, "Oh, man, are you serious?"
Woo!
So it suddenly occurs to me, I'm going to walk out into my estimation, the greatest baseball stadium in the world. And it's just starting to get 6:30, 7 o'clock, Los Angeles. The sun's going down, man. The Jumbotrons are on. The Moscow lights are on. And I walk out to the pitcher's mound, and they announced me, right? And 89,000 people got on their feet and gave me a standing ovation. And I couldn't see all the way to the box. Obviously, it was very far away, but my 2 kids were watching this, dude. And I throw the pitch in, and I bring it in. It was a little high, but about 80 because I could still throw.
Wow.
And so the catcher goes, "Dude, that was awesome. I got the ball. The Dodgers signed it for me. I got a bunch more shit, and then I make my way back up into the box. And there's my daughter and one of my sons. And I'm like, "Hey, guys, I'm back." And they're staring at me like, "Who in the fuck are you? Where's our dad? What is that?" I told you guys, people really like my movie, and all my other movies too, but that one in particular. And they were just like, it gave them an enormously new, completely different appreciation for how wide and top to bottom the love for that movie is.
Yeah.
So that was, personally, that was probably the greatest moment, and look, dude, I'd met it before Kershaw, but I met all, and one time we went to the Twins Stadium when David was still playing, Big Papi.
Uh-huh.
And it was the Twins and the Sox, and they were taking BP before a game. And my wife she was my fiance at the time, and they let me bring my German Shepherd on the goddamn infield. It was awesome. The only dog ever been allowed to chase tennis balls on the field at Dodger Stadium too. And Big Papi's taking BP, and me, Chauncey, who still looks like Squints, and Pat Renna, who still looks like Ham.
Yep.
Come walking on to the infield. We're standing back respectfully. Wow, man, we're taking BP. And Papi who is an enormous human being, turns around and he sees those two and he throws his bat down and he goes, "Oh my God, you are my heroes!" And he runs over and he grabs both of them, each in an arm, and Pat's not a little dude, and he picks them up like this and he walks around with them. My heroes. That was a great moment. Okay.
Oh,
That's so cool.
So that I got to have those moments, dude. I mean, thank you to the big man, really.
yeah.
It's awesome.
That's so cool.
Right
Love that the fact that he's given us a lot. Thank you, man, upstairs and everything. And of course, Mr. Evans. Again, I know we've said it once, we'll say it again. But man, thanks for the movie. I mean, thanks for not this Sandlot 2. I mean, everything. Truly, I know not just Carter and I, but as you have already seen, millions of people really, really have taken this, and the relatability piece for everyone. I don't know of very many movies that stand the test of time, and as we sit here in 2025, how well this means. So, our appreciation for this, and not just the time here today, but the movie itself, and it's something that will never go away.
Dude, I am intensely grateful. You are beyond welcome. Listen, I'm going to retire from doing interviews and shit in a while, but you guys don't lose my number. I'll come on with you guys anytime.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to retire from working, but just like, I haven't kept track, but if I had to guess, maybe like, I don't know, dude, it's over 1,000 interviews. It's got to be.
Yeah.
And I love it, and I love the love for the movie. How can you not?
Yeah.
And I mean, it's like dude, it's like that little train in Dumbo, Casey Jr. I think I can. Fuck, I did it. Amazing. And I know. Listen, the story behind the movie is it's filled with utter self-doubt and some kind of preternatural belief, that I could do it.
Yeah.
And there was no reason to believe I could. None. And, it was scary. And, but I'll tell you what, that movie exists, and that it is as beloved as it is. If you ask me on a personal level, that movie is the result of perseverance and determination and never giving up.
Yeah.
So perseverance and determination used to be, I don't know if they are anymore, probably still the two, those are the two omnipotent factors in Hollywood.
Yeah.
If you have a little talent, that ain't enough. You got to be, you got to never give up. And only that. But I got, and dude, plus the baseball gods and all the luck I had, dude, I've had so much luck in my life. It's like, I don't want to drive to the store, man. I'm going to get center punched, It gets a little scary how much luck I've had. So, but like they say, man, good things happen to he who hustles while he waits.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, I'll leave you with that. Oh no, the story. What was I going to tell you? The story. What was
Lasorda. Yeah.
I said the what?
Lasorda. Was that it?
How did we get into fucking Dodger Stadium? So Dodger Stadium was always written into the script, and pretty soon we're getting towards the end of the movie of shooting it in Iowa, and I go, all right. So the producers come to me and they're like, dude, we don't have the money to get Dodger Stadium. I go, you got to get Dodger Stadium. You can't tell me this now at the end of the goddamn movie. We're going back to Los Angeles to shoot a couple scenes in Los Angeles. I got to have Dodger Stadium. Yeah, no, it's like, blah, blah, blah. And saying that money, blah, blah. You can't get in there. I said, shit, dude. And my DP, Tony Richmond, overheard that. He takes me aside and he goes, right, mate, Chief. He always called me Chief. He goes, you need Dodger Stadium? I said, yes, sir, we do. He goes, how long you want it? I go, shit, I think we can get it done in a day. He goes, right, come to my house. So he lived on Sunset Boulevard. I don't know, maybe like, 15 miles down Sunset Boulevard to where Dodger Stadium is, right? And so I go over to Tony's house, and he's a Brit, and he's got a bit of a small car collection. So we get into this 1960, I don't know if that was the year, but something like that, MG Roadster convertible. Ooh. Left-hand drive, okay? And Tony just rips down Sunset Boulevard. It was a gorgeous, beautiful day, Southern California day. And so where are we going? He goes, we're going to go see the skipper. So he takes me to Dodger Stadium, drives up the road, blasts right through past the ticket counters and the booths. And these guys go, Tony! Apparently they all know him, and I didn't know that. And we go all around to the clubhouse entrance. There's guards everywhere. And they go, Tony, good to see you again. No announcement. Nobody called. We just fucking showed up. And I follow Tony into the clubhouse are you kidding me? I'm in private part of Dodger Stadium. And he goes, we get to this, there's a door to an office, and it's open. It's Lasorda's office. And Tony goes, right, come on, we're going to talk to the skipper. We walk in, and this is what I see. Tommy Lasorda at his desk, his feet are up, he's smoking a cigar, he's got his Dodger cap on and the newspaper, and he's wearing tighty-whities, and that's it. DVDs. He's in his fucking underwear. Okay? And he just tips the newspaper down, kind of folds it, and he goes, Tony, how are you? And he goes, hey, Skipper, we're doing good. We're making this beautiful movie. Hey, we're going to do good this year? Oh, yeah, the boys are looking good. And he goes, what can I do for you, Tony? And he goes, right, this is David. He's directing this movie. It's brilliant. And we just shot a bunch of it in Utah. We need to shoot here in Dodger Stadium. Fucking Lasorda goes, when do you want to shoot? And Tony looks at me and he goes, when do you want to shoot? And it was a Monday. I go, I don't know, Saturday? And Tony goes, Skipper, we want it Saturday. And Lasorda goes, all right, just tell him I told you it's cool. Dude, we left, and Saturday we showed up, and they gave us the keys to the fucking stadium.
No way.
You went anywhere. You can't get on the roof of Dodger Stadium, man. It's not allowed. I got on the roof and shot those top shots. It was astoundingly cool. What is it? Who you know?
Yes.
Thank God everybody loves Tony Richard, man, because he was my ace in the hole. It was awesome.
Oh,
Skipper, I hope you appreciate that. Lasorda had a great sense of humor. He doesn't mind me telling this story. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. That's all I got, boys.
Well, hey, Mr. Evans, thanks again for doing this.
No worries. Thank you for having me.
Oh, man, I know we've kept you a while. I'll let you go on that one, but hey, thanks again. Yeah, we'll send you. We'll get you the addresses, and thank you for all that.
Yeah, dude, send me an email, and I'll get these out. What's today? Today Saturday?
Yeah, Saturday.
Monday.
Perfect.
Monday it is.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks
again. Thank you so much. You're very kind, and like I said, you are on my good boy list forever.
Oh, thank you very much. You're on ours.
All right, guys.
Thanks again.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Have a good day.
Take it easy.
Yeah, you too.
You too.
All right. Let me make sure I pause that. Resume from ending. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Well, man, Carter, I got to say, that was as great of an interview. And, man, it did take a long time, but it didn't feel like that for sure. It felt like we were just 2 minutes away, and then all of a sudden here we are. We're a couple hours deep, but and it's been impressive. And I want to say thank you for joining on. I really love all the questions you brought. I mean, really diving into James Earl Jones' character, diving into all of that stuff. It truly shows that you know the movie just as much as anybody else does out there. So again, appreciate you coming on and doing this with me.
Yeah, thanks for having me again. It was a lot of fun. I appreciate getting to talk to somebody that has all that background knowledge and, created such a beautiful movie, and a movie that everyone loves so much. So just thanks for having me on, and I'm excited about it.
Oh, yeah, man. And everybody out there, give your thoughts, likes, more, everything. What do you think about? And possibly more. as Mr. Evans said, I mean, we're looking at more conversations down the road with him for sure. So if anything that comes up that you thought, man, we didn't ask, hit us up. Again, iabaseball1@gmail.com. I'll make sure to get that up here. Again, iabaseball1@gmail.com. But for myself, Andrew Brown, Carter Thomas, thanks for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. This has been an absolute pleasure. And until we see each other next time, stay safe on the base pass. Thanks again.